I had a friend there, he was a big city lawyer, and he'd had an injury on his back and you could see him get more and more depressed. And it actually culminated with him taking his own life.
Cheers.
I can sometimes be too ...
This is a tricky one. I can sometimes be either too kind or too arrogant, you know, in my opinion.
Sometimes I'm too nerdy because I'm a historian and, you know, I live and breathe in terms of historical society, the way we're shaped. And I think I bore people sometimes with that.
I can be too kind when it comes to like, you know, respecting boundaries. I feel like when it comes to like being polite, sometimes it's very impolite to be polite. Some people just want to like, you know, go on with the day, and that's something I feel like I need to work on.
That's why I took up teaching, and so I can talk about it all day long as part of, and get paid.
Another thing is being arrogant. I have a lot of pride in my craft, and I'm happy to say no to a lot of opportunities because I really love what I do, and I don't want to work with everybody because I've got to the point of my craft where I just only want to work with the best, you know?
And sometimes I'm too empathetic, which gets me into trouble.
So that's where I say my arrogance comes from. Sometimes it's good to be open-minded and, you know, just let opportunity come your way, and it shouldn't be too close-minded.
Because now I'm older, I can manage it and know when not to and when I should have more of something of those traits. But when I was younger, got me into sticky situations that, you know, empathy is a lovely thing, but too much of it, and you end up looking after people who should be looking after themselves.
For me, I feel like when you're too nice, it allows people to not respect your boundaries, you know? And I feel like in this day and age, boundaries are so important.
I can sometimes be too lazy. I can be too lazy. I'm 56 years old, divorced, I've got 2 young adult children, worked in an office for 34 years. At the moment I'm a carer. I'm living with my mum, I've rented my flat out, and I have no inclination of getting back into an office. And I'm really happy.
I can sometimes be too little. I think sometimes you gotta take more ownership of who you are and, you know, be a little bit more yourself, more than you can.
I love that. Yeah.
Lazy is a strong word. I'd say more chilled. I'd say I've worked hard my whole life. I grew up son of immigrants, they came here with nothing. I grew up in a council flat, worked hard, got myself to university. Luckily back then, you could go, they'd pay your fees. You would get a student grant. I got into publishing, and I worked very hard in the publishing industry, 34 years. And it was a case of paying bills, working really hard. And I've come to a point in my life where I'm not at the moment, and I don't feel guilty about it.
Well, I would say that I can be sometimes too hard on myself and overly self-critical. I think that I push myself to do more and be more, which is great. And it's helped me be ambitious and achieve a lot. But at the same time, I think that I should give myself more grace to be like not number one, or, you know, just enjoy the moment and not be worried about doing better, being better.
It's beautiful.
Thanks.
I'll tell you what it was. There was one actual crystalline moment which was 2 years ago. Someone I knew at the Lido, where I swim every day. I'm an all year round swimmer. And he was 2 years older than me, and he got diagnosed with a cancer. And within a year I was at his funeral, and I was comforting his widow and his 3 young adult daughters. And I was in that church watching that coffin go down the aisle. And I was like, Raj, old chum, you never know. You know, maybe it's time to live a little rather than just work.
I think that we're a lot wrapped up in how other people are going to think of us and how somebody else maybe wants us to act in a certain time and place, and we kind of hide ourselves to fit with other people's narratives and the time of now especially trying to fit into the trends and everything. So I think it's just brave to own who you are and be exactly who you want to be.
Yeah, I like that.
And the other occasion, and again this was related to the Lido I swim at, was I had a friend there. He was a big city lawyer, and he'd had an injury on his back, and you could see him get more and more depressed. And it actually culminated with him taking his own life, sadly. And he left behind a wife, and again 2 adult children. And again, it suddenly crystallized in me that you don't know how long you've got. And I think I fulfilled my duties to my children. I was a good husband while I was a husband. My children are doing well. But it's a case of stepping back a bit now and kind of enjoying life a bit more.
You put it down?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna wrap it like a normal person. Okay.
All right. Cute.
Hold my hand. It's ridiculous.
Being married to somebody for a long time, and what I thought was compromise was really just putting up with a whole lot of shite. Yeah. Not married to them now.